5 lights, they go out, and let's go! And it's Britain, is it? Oh, they're very close, David, almost kissing wheels, and it's Hamilton!
Just sneaking through as Pereira runs a little bit wide, going into the first corner. Pereira goes very wide at the first corner, all over the grass, plunges down the order there, manages to get himself back onto the circuit, but it's Lewis Hamilton then in that drag to the first corner, who just about made it through on the inside, ahead of Paul di Resta then from pole position, who slips into second place, and the car's accelerating towards us for the first time. Spin in the background, I think Paolo Montin and Vettel certainly involved in it. Paolo Montin's blue car, Sebastian Vettel there, I'm afraid, has rather than gained ground, lost ground, and he's now penultimate. But Hamilton is scarpering already, isn't he? Second is di Resta, third is Sutil, in fourth place is Lucas Di Grassi. End of lap 1 then. Lewis Hamilton leads. Not for the first time have we said that in F3 Euro Series this year. He's being chased though by Paul di Resta as they come across the start and finish line now. And look at this! Oh! Right up against the pit wall. That was a very brave effort by Loic Duval, just being able to find a way by.
That was inches away from a very big accident.
And is that Rossiter in the background going over the grass? I think it may well have been James Rossiter. Hamilton ahead of di Resta, ahead of that man, Adrian Sutil, and then Lucas Di Grassi in fourth.
And Hamilton just doing what he's done most of the season, motoring away from the rest of the field.
Replay here of Sebastian Vettel's recovery drive up on the inside of Philippe Sarocada there, and he goes through at the first corner. But after losing all that time early on, Vettel really has got a mountain to climb here. Across the line, the leaders will come in a moment. Meantime, this on the back of the circuit, the battle between Hirati and Loic Duval. Duval hasn't had a win this year, but he's had a number of second-placed finishes. He's been on the podium quite a bit this year, the French driver. Somebody else in his second year in F3 Euro Series.
And Lewis looking for a lucky 13th win, maybe. Well, not so lucky, to be honest, because he's just took the lead at the first corner and has motored away from the rest of them.
Not only does he drive hard, he makes very few mistakes. We saw him in the wars at Zandvoort, but pretty much that has been it in terms of any driving errors. Very consistent, very smooth, and a very clever driver, Lewis Hamilton.
And meanwhile, battles down the field.
That's Attila Abroy, who started way back on the grid, going past James Rossiter, who's got his own idea of the line for that first corner.
Well, Rossiter didn't seem to be carrying too much speed. Here's Vettel still making his way up through the field, David.
Yeah, Thomas Holzer then, the most recent victim of a Vettel charge, and Sebastian Vettel gaining another place. 7 more laps of what's a 24-lap race, all 30 minutes, because the demands with DTM television is that the timetable has to run exactly to time, so it's 24 laps or 30 minutes at which the checkered flag comes out. And I can't really see, despite Paul di Resta's best efforts, I can't see him catching now onto the tail of Lewis Hamilton. Even if that gap has come down a little, you always get the feeling that Lewis, if he needs to, can just up his pace a bit.
Yes, I absolutely agree with that. But good to see di Resta going so well. I mean, a young man racing outside his native country. Whole new experience for him. Newcomer into Formula 3 for 2005, and he's done a pretty good job. He made a few mistakes along the way, but this is perhaps the best performance we've had all season. Vettel now in 16th place, but doing some very competitive lap times, as you can see there.
Yeah, just going back to di Resta, he did qualify on pole, didn't he, for one of the 2 races at the start of the season at Hockenheim. I think it was the second of the races, and he then spun at the first corner, which I think probably dented his confidence somewhat. He raced in the Bahrain F3 Super Prix at the end of last season, so he had a little bit of knowledge, but very limited experience of F3. That was an event won by Lewis Hamilton. Sebastian Vettel, after starting at the back and having a spin early on, still charging his way as best he can up through the order, but I don't think that car has totally been in the best nick after its early clash. 16th Vettel runs at the moment.
Yes, Lewis Hamilton comes to the line. He's already the champion, and he increases his lead at the top of the table. Just 2 more races to go, and there the victory margin 5.8 seconds, and confirmation of the rest of the top 8. David, post-race scrutineering unfortunately saw Paul di Resta thrown out of the race for a technical infringement, and it is go, and Another copybook start from Lewis Hamilton, with this first corner often causes some dramas. Well, Hamilton's through cleanly, that's for sure. What about the rest of the field of the air horns? There's some off there, and I think Morrow and Van der Garde were tangled up there. Well, everyone seems to get going. So, well, yeah, well, he's not going far. And I think that was Guilherme Morrow. But immediately into lead is Lewis Hamilton, and Lucas de Grassi has also made a good start in the Manor Motorsport entry. And this Hockenheim track always promotes some very good racing here. Look at Hamilton out front behind there. We're almost 3 abreast down into the hairpin. And quite a lot of runoff area there, and a couple of cars going very wide, and the spinner in the middle of the pack. But Hamilton it is from de Grassi. And there is all tangled up Van der Garde and Sebastian Vettel. Disappointment for Vettel, already has secured the Rookie of the Year title. And while all that's going on, guess what? Lewis Hamilton is motoring away from the rest of the field. Vettel coming into the pits. Just seen Hamilton go out of our picture. And the main interest in this race seems to be the battle for third place between Pereira and the young 19-year-old Maximilian Gotz. Ran out of finance before the, well, just about the middle of the season. Been given another chance here by the ASM team. And there is Hirati, never had a hope of making the corner. Lucas de Grassi is in second place there, just going out of the hairpin in the battle for third. And behind that, Paul de Resta pushing hard. There's Paul de Resta on the inside. And de Resta coming through, passing Loic Duval, the rising French talent. And Gott certainly looking very good. As we said, the regular driver of that car, Adrian Sutil, driving for Team Germany in the A1 Grand Prix. And it looks to me as if Gotz is lining up to have a go at Pereira. He tries one side, he tries the other, and it worked! And a brilliant move by young Max Gotz, just 19. Ran out of money earlier in the year, has been given this second chance, and this could lead to a permanent ride next year. But, well, certainly Pereira isn't giving up, and they're side by side again. And what about into the hairpin? Pereira is on the outside, Gotz on the inside, and Pereira runs wide, misses his braking. And here is... that was quite a move there by Ben Klukas. And we're just seeing on the screen, fastest lap from Sebastian Vettel after that pit stop, running in clean air. And, well, the two Midland cars, I'm not sure if they're working together, Guerrier and young Ben Klukas, and they're absolutely wheel to wheel. And, well, it was Klukas on the inside, I think there. Klukas is number 19, and the Argentine Esteban Guerrier is number 20. So we had some fairly desperate action midfield here in this 19th and penultimate round of the Formula 3 Euroseries, and still a long way to go, still 11 laps left. Well, that's a long way round. So, as you can see, the rain definitely coming down there, down here at Hockenheim, making conditions even more difficult. And the clock is ticking away, and I'm sure Lewis Hamilton is going to be very pleased to see the checkered flag, although he has absolutely no opposition here now and has motored away from the rest of the field. Although just there making a mistake, putting a wheel out and twitching a bit. And Hamilton heads towards yet another checkered flag, his 14th of the season. A huge victory margin for Lewis Hamilton, actually pulled a couple of seconds out over Degrassi on that last lap.